The latest vaccine data for Texas shows females are the most vaccinated group, as well as Asian residents. But Dr. Tim Bray with UT Dallas says there are many reasons why the numbers look the way they do, and he joins us this morning with his insight. Good morning, Dr. Bray. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you as well.
Okay,
so our challenge with this data is...
Yeah, no, go ahead. Talk about it. Talk about the challenges.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we have to understand, we've been looking at this data for a couple of weeks now. The state's been collecting it. And the variations that we see, you mentioned that women are more likely than men to have received doses. We see differences by race and ethnicity, by age. One of the challenges is because of how we've rolled out the vaccine. You may recall when we first rolled the vaccine out, we pushed it out to first responders, to healthcare workers, and especially among the healthcare workers, many folks in that industry are women. And so it's natural that we would see more women than men early on. As we start to push out the vaccine in phase 1B, we see that balance change.
Yeah, they got a lot of nurses that are healthcare workers as well. But yeah, okay, so it makes sense when it comes to female and male. I think another thing that you guys found, which was interesting, was there's a lot of barriers for some people. And so that makes it that they haven't gotten the vaccine. For example, one of the things that you mentioned was a lot of these centers aren't accessible for those who work. I mean, they're not open late at night after hours.
Yeah, and that's one of our challenges, right? We look at sort of three types of reasons why we see these variations. First, how are we rolling it out? When we're targeting specific populations, we'll see those populations reflected in the numbers. Second is sort of a cultural variation. So Pew Research did a survey back in November. They found that Asian respondents were almost 20% more likely than all other groups to have an intent to be vaccinated. So we know that different groups in our society are thinking about the vaccine differently. And then the third is just a logistics issue, right? Many people are scared off by this idea of many hours waiting in line, or they have technological barriers, or they're trying to figure out what list do I get on and where do I go. So those three drivers are really, if we want to see those numbers go up right now in North Texas, we have about 88,000 folks who are fully vaccinated, 371,000 partially vaccinated, about 6% of the population. If we want to drive those numbers up, we've got to solve these logistic issues to make the doses easily accessible to folks from all sorts of backgrounds with all sorts of baseline knowledge.
Yeah, and you mentioned that it could be months before we're at a point where you could like walk up and get it like a flu shot. So still a lot to be done before then. Dr. Bray, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.